Alrighty, let's see. Go. Oh my god. Oh, that actually worked. Oh. Okay, I can hear myself on stream. Goofy ass thumbnail. Okay, well, it ain't appeared yet, but, yeah, there we go. Well, it ain't appeared yet. Guess we doing this now. Neat. Yeah, that might be a little too loud. Oh yeah, I should probably actually tell people I'm on stream. Let's see. Oakley dokley. Alright, let's see if that helps at all. Anybody currently watching, or... Oh, hey. Evening, Biss. Yep, stream just started. I don't plan to stream for long, just a little bit. Just kind of felt like doing something, you know. Ugh. Let's see, what was I up to? Close that. Yes. I just felt like doing something for a little bit. Plus, I always enjoy talking to people on stream. How have you been? Let's see. I think your mic is a little too low. Ooh, okay, hang on. Let me see, is that any better? I'm good, but... Okay, that sounds... Oh yeah, the resource pack you were working on. That looks pretty good. I'm excited to see that it comes out. Hey, there we go. We got 2 people on now. Isn't that lovely? Of course, dude. I've always been meaning to make a resource pack myself, but I ain't never found the time. Yeah. Today I just felt like I was gonna doodle for a bit, because I've already been doodling a fair bit. So I figured I'd continue that. I don't expect a whole lot of people to get on, so yeah, I'll probably just wait until like 1 or 2 more people get on, then I'll get started. This is my loud ass keyboard. Mic is a bit low. Hang on. Really? It sounds like kind of loud for me. Okay, I moved it a little closer. Is that better? Might be my output. My output might just be wrong. Okay, that's quieter. That's louder. Yeah, there we go. that's louder. Okay, that's got to be at least a little bit loud. Alrighty. Not sure what's up with that. Might just be OBS. Now it's doing decibels too loud. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's OBS. I'll have to fix it at some point. Let me see if anybody else is interested in watching. Oh, you'll have to forgive me. I'm also a little bit sick right now. I done got a wee bit ill. Let me compare mobile and laptop. No, it's all good. You ain't gotta do that. I'm sure it's just like really dumb OBS stuff. I moved my mic a little closer. I don't know if that helped. Oh god, you're gonna be hearing me sniffle every 2 seconds. Ugh. On mobile, it sounds amazing. Oh, okay. It might just be YouTube. It could also be YouTube. Oh, another viewer. I'll wait for one more person. If there's nobody in the next 2 minutes, I'm just gonna start doodling stuff. Another really quick stream. That was my mouse. Oopsie daisy. Alright, how's everybody doing this evening? I've been on for about 5 minutes now. Oh damn, 7 minutes. That went quick. Has something to do with OBS. It happens on Twitch as well. Alright. That's annoying. I'll have to figure out if there's like a fix for that later. 3 folks on. Ugh, I apologize for the sniffling. Being ill is quite funny. Alrighty. Let's see. Hang on, actually, let me lower the color of the background real quick, because this is too blinding for the dark ass room I'm in. There we go. Tiny bit better. Is it the same color? It is the same color. This one's a little, yeah, a little less saturated. Your weekend's going alright? Just got some sushi with friends. That's lovely. I've actually never been a sushi person, which is strange. Well, yeah, certainly had now. Oh, we got 4 people on. Alright, let me get started then. So very briefly, I was just working on some kind of doodle sketch things, and I said, oh, these are actually looking kind of good. I might as well kind of go full circle with them. And I started doing these properly. I was originally gonna start working on the game, and I have done a bit of work on the game, but I kind of wanted to do something more comic related, because I also had that planned in mind as well. But yeah, so I was just gonna doodle these for a little bit. before I continued my assignments for college because our professor decided it would be very funny if they moved up the project that we were supposed to have an extra week for and actually move it closer 1 week. And that was quite silly, so I'm just trying to relax right now. But yeah, it could be worse. I certainly can't complain. But yeah, I've never been a bit of a... Oh, why did that do that? Yeah, I've never been much of a sushi guy myself. Let's see. So right now I'm just kind of finishing up this one. See where that goes. I'm not quite sure what kind of headwear to give Ifni. See, I suppose I'll say it now. I'm actually trying to work on a new comic, something a bit less ambitious, little comicettes, so to speak, of just kind of the characters in Juno before everything kind of goes down in this new story I've been writing, which is the story for Warren 1. And I thought it'd be neat to kind of show where someone like Ifni, for example, came from to eventually become a pioneer, which you can see there. Now, I'm still not quite sure what the premise of the actual comic is supposed to be, or the series of them is supposed to be, but I do like the idea of a kind of just a goofy little drama between characters, something fun. Oh, yellow. Hey, dude. Welcome to the stream. Ain't much going on. I'm just kind of drawing. So yeah. So I do like the idea of kind of like a university style drama or something, like they're going through the whole training program of essentially trying to become pioneers and such. And of course, a lot of them are kind of clueless. And I just think it'd be neat to do something fun like that. I've been trying to make less edgy stories recently. Well, in the past couple months. Warren 1 was supposed to be kind of a big one of that, but I realized I was a bit too ambitious, so I'm starting off really small now. Stream going. All Ifni for tonight? Yeah, pretty much. I'm just gonna doodle her. And some concept sketches for the helmets that I was working on that I didn't have time to finish. Yeah, it's just gonna be a quick stream. Something to do. So I'm actually designing Ifni with kind of more of a Usonen vibe, because I think it would be kind of neat. It's also fun because it's the most familiar thing in a city that's been underground for, I guess, like, God knows how long, at least culturally, to what we have nowadays. Let's see, how's that looking? There we go. Yes, Ifni is indeed cooking. It's like her favorite thing to do. I shall make her happy. I should also probably make her head less tall. I don't know why I made her head so tall. It should be a bit better. I might make this one a bit bigger too, actually, just so it doesn't look too small by comparison to the others. There we go. Maybe more. Like so. But I like the idea of doing these, like, kind of graphic-y sheets for all the characters that I plan to do. It'll be small, maybe like 5 characters max. I don't expect it to really go anywhere. I just wanted something fun to do. Little comic, low effort. I just need to do something, you know? But yeah, just doing Ifni right now. go. What is she cooking? That is actually a very good question, and I am not 100% sure myself because I've still kind of been debating actually, because so the whole thing is like they live underground, right? And they've lived underground for a very long time. And so most of what they have that is like food or produce is stuff that their ancestors brought with them from the surface a very, very long time ago. And as a result, I've had kind of a hard time figuring out what would change and what wouldn't change relative to what we have today. So she still has a frying pan, which is still something familiar to us. And I had a hard time actually figuring out what they would cook with until I realized that the concept of a frying pan is about as old as fire itself. So I didn't change the design too much. I mean, it's a frying pan. But the actual food is certainly hard to figure out. I do like cooking artworks done lately. This one's Sybil. I feel like I've done a couple of them, but none really come to mind. But I like doing cooking pieces. It's it's nice. I like cooking. Oh yeah, stove. Yeah, so the food. This is something I've currently had a hard time deciding. So 100% they have produce because they need something to eat. And something like a potato that doesn't really need a whole lot of sunlight would be easy to grow. Really doesn't need any sunlight at all. Uh, Things like wheat and corn and flour would probably have not made it down to the surface, but I feel like some variant of them would have that was probably at some point bred to be better for underground living. And so I'm still figuring out that myself. But I did have in mind that they would probably eat either a lot of soybeans or a lot of mushrooms, and they would find out ways to kind of derive different kinds of fibers from that they could then use to actually put together. It is simply an edible substance. Yeah, pretty much. Mushrooms are always an option. Yeah. So they'd probably be having a very chitin heavy diet and such. The problem with that I was wondering is this kind of ties into the problem I'm having with the story, or really the lore in general, is is like whether or not they should actually have livestock, because that will tie into some of the story later as to how shocked they'll be when they eventually do meet anthropomorphic humans. Uh, so livestock is certainly complicated. However, uh, yeah, I mean they need protein somehow, wouldn't they? You can't just eat chitinous mushrooms for your entire life. And so I've kind of had a hard time deciding that because that would be a pretty not like a huge change, like it's not a big deal, but it would have a relatively decent change on how they'd react to things above the surface when they eventually do get there, because I mean that's the whole point of the plot. But if they've lived with other animals that aren't like the monsters they find underground, then probably seeing the stuff above ground wouldn't surprise them too much. But if they haven't, then that would be a much bigger kind of plot point type of thing that I could focus on the writing and such. But it is also possible that by this point, so this story, which is taking place in 1168, so about 5 years before the War in One was supposed to take place, 1173, which is Ifni over here. Originally, uh, they actually reached the surface a fair bit earlier, about 10 to 15 years before this, and it wouldn't be ridiculous to assume they'd have brought some kind of livestock down from the surface by that point. But yeah, as to what she's cooking, if I had to guess, short answer, well, that was a long answer. Short answer is probably like noodles or something, because I like noodles. like anything grown naturally is 100% there. Yeah, I take it as anything concentrated. You'd think that we just don't. Wait. So like anything grown naturally is 100% there. I take that as anything concentrated. Just have just doesn't exist in this world. It's hard to say because to them they think only about 1,000 years have passed since they're like the short version is it was like the Bronze Age collapse where something happened, nobody knows what happened, and then just like things kind of just stopped. And nobody is quite sure why, but their calendar starts at the year the farthest they know back is about 4 to 600 years before their calendar starts at year 0, which is when the city of Juneau was founded. Sorry, the New-Yorkis of Juneau. And that is kind of a tie-in where it's like that's how long they think, but they do know there was something before, and there was probably something before that. But this goes so far back that I've had to consider like, okay, what would something like a frying pan look like after that much time, and what would stay solidified after that much time? Because obviously not everything is the same, but even in like normal history, interestingly enough, if you go back further, the further you go back, the more similar things are to the world now. So, like, if you took a Roman citizen and you dropped them in New York, they'd be shocked, but they would probably be able to adjust. I mean, we work, we go out to eat, and quite a lot of what we do now is relatively similar to what the Romans would do, actually. Most of them ate fast food because cooking was difficult. They didn't have enough space in their kitchens. And as a result, I've kind of had to be like, okay, what would change? What would stay the same? They are still humans, after all, or well, the descendants of them. There we go. I think that looks good. Yeah. Generally speaking, if it's like something like common sense, like, I don't know, a hammer, that probably still exists. It's like a 99% chance. Yeah, that absolutely still exists. If it's something more specific, like let me think. What's it? It's pretty. So, for example, they have very little. So, like, they have transit systems, but the idea of local transport, so something like what the horse would have given us, so like wagons on the back of things, is something that is completely foreign to them because the city was just so compact that they didn't actually have to move things that far. And so transit systems were more like, oh, you need to get from one side to the city to the other, then that exists there. But before Juneau had its kind of big conflict, which I might actually write a book about, hopefully, about Elliot Alistair, their king, essentially, who's not really king. Uh, to get from the entire city was only about maybe like 10 kilometers long. Really wasn't that big. But to actually get over to the other side would take a couple days because of just how cramped the whole thing was and just how busy the major transit lines were. So it's things like that that are really different, really oddly specific things that you wouldn't probably think about that just as a result of living underground in such a compact environment and the fact that they've only recently kind of had more space, not even just going to the surface, just actually exploring the underground, only recently having been able to expand further than just like a couple kilometers out into the kind of underground. They don't have a lot of stuff that we would think is normal, like a wagon or such. In a lot of cases, to them, the wheel is no more than a gear rather than an object of transport. Since you don't really need a car to get around, and you're certainly not pulling anything quite large. Most of the stuff in Juneau runs on belts or conveyor systems or something like that. What about steel and iron for construction? Does that exist? Yeah, that still exists. So underground, so wood, for example, is their version of what a diamond is. Uh, so they grow plants, and they know about like they have plants, like they've had them for quite a while, and so they do have things like greenhouses, and they have flowers and the like and such. However, trees they kind of don't really have. Trees are much rarer for them, and as a result, they're usually something ceremonial that have existed for a long time. Steel and construction, uh, as a result, since they've lived underground for so long, are kind of the only things they actually have to build with, aside from the actual cave system itself. And so as a result, they've kind of evolved everything around this style of living underground. So their clothing, for example, usually reflects the kind of stone that's around them. Ifni is Yusan, so her clothing is a bit more culturally leaned, but where Juno is, there's quite a bit of marble, and so the white kind of shows up more, and the style of pyrite kind of coloring, which is this kind of yellowy brown, became much more popular because really the only things they had to decorate was like fool's gold or actual gold or just any metal they could find because that's really all they had. That and the stone. But yeah, iron is kind of the major thing they use for construction. Uh, Steel is just the hardened carboning of that. It took them quite a while to figure steel out because they didn't even have the ability to make fire for quite a long time. They used a kind of bioluminescent resin for light, and for heat they had geothermal vents, so they didn't really need fire for a couple hundred years. And it was discovered by accident, and as a result, actually working metal for them is relatively new. Before they just worked with stone. And by relatively new, I mean like a couple hundred years. So it's like new, but it's not that new. New in civilization terms. Mention trees. Does that also mean paper is scarce? Yeah, they don't use paper. So they actually discovered uh, really simple computers before they discovered paper. Before people just wrote on clay, kind of like the Greeks did, because that was just the easiest thing they had. It was the most kind of abundant that they had down there. It was easy to make it. And so people would just write on clay. They'd let it dry. And there you go, clay tablets. Very Bronze Age type thing. I'm fucking up this hand so bad. Yeah, let me draw the gizmo she's using. So the idea of using silicon after they discovered electricity, of course, but the idea of using silicon to hold electrical signals for information was actually more familiar to them than cutting a tree down and using carbon to write things on it. So paper was like really kind of foreign to them, and they only discovered that in the past like 5 years when they went to the surface and they were like, oh, this place is full of trees. What happens if we stamp and press them and do all this stuff to actually get paper? That is extremely new to them, and it's more of like a novelty than something they actually use. It's like a theorized thing that somebody proved could be done in a lab, and everyone was like, okay, cool, but we already have like circuits for that. Extremely simple circuits, like we're talking light bulb on, light bulb off type thing, pre-Turing machine stuff, but yeah, circuits nonetheless. And so paper isn't really needed for them because they've already been living with silicone-based information for quite a while. Here we go. Just add this bit of metal here. Not quite sure how this should go. That looks alright. So what I'm making here is essentially just a basic kind of... So I suppose I should explain. Uh, to get around transit-wise, because I mentioned before they hadn't really needed transit for a very long time, uh, getting around very large areas was quite difficult. And so the short version of it is they developed grappling hooks really early because it was just easier to move around caves like that. And as a result, grappling hook transportation became really popular and still quite popular in the cave systems. And it's kind of like a requirement to know if you're going to become a pioneer. Let's see, so this is the housing for the shield. Yeah, most of their stuff is either made of some kind of bronze or pyrite, because it's the most common kind of relatively strong but decorative metal that they have. So everything kind of has a bit of a golden-ish look to it. Oh dear, I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on. There we go. I didn't want to sneeze into my mic. Oh, Christ. So yeah, uh, their kind of grapple mechanisms use something similar to, I guess the closest thing I can reference is like Attack on Titan or something. They basically have a harness that goes around the entire body, and the handle bit here is just a guider for what direction the cable should be going in. The actual cable shoots from behind them, guided by this kind of line here, and then this pulls on the harness, and then the harness is what pulls them out. The whole system kind of looks something like this, where there's your hand, here's the little gizmo, aim here, head here, then the backpack, which is behind. When fired, so basically the viewer is firing it from here, but there are modifications that can make it a bit easier to use from the hip and whatnot. But essentially it's fired from here, the cable is jettisoned on a rail system that shoots it forward from the top, and then the network of cables that's below. Basically, once the cable has finished pulling, a second rail puts the harness connection here, and that essentially is what pulls the body, which is connected by harness, to the backpack. And so it like drags them up in a sense. It's like here's the backpack person. It pulls them in this direction, usually. Like kind of up forward. And that's generally how they get around in the caves. I really sat down and read your stories. I'll have to do that sometime. No worries. I haven't really done too much. And I'm also trying not to do too much lore for this one, because I don't like... The last time I did a story, I did way too much lore, and it was just a mess. It's good to just do something. I usually don't write a lot of this stuff down, which I should also probably start doing. I should probably write like an actual novel at some point soon, ideally. So yeah, don't worry. I've done a lot of drawing, but not a lot of writing. I just don't think my writing style is good enough for the kind of thing I want to do, but I realized everyone's got to start somewhere. I should probably start somewhere at some point too. So here we go. I'm just adding this little housing bracket here, just under the kind of trunnion bit. Ugh. God, I'm so sick. Yeah, I apologize for all the sniffling. Inadvertent. There we go. What kind of sick? It's just like a cold, but it's like a really runny nose kind of cold. go. Yeah, a lot of this is like just randomly designing stuff on the fly and then coming up with an excuse for why you did it later, though. I kind of just like how this looks. But I do think it would be funny to have like hold like this in the most like unergonomic way possible. And it'd be goofy. Or maybe actually, maybe the handle bit is back here. And there's some kind of tip switch. And that's actually what releases the mechanism. That could be cool. You know what it kind of looks like? You guys ever used one of those, Okay, who here has worked retail? Show of hands. Who here has worked retail? Because if I say this and none of you have worked retail, nobody's going to know what it is. But it's going to be real cool if you have. Okay, nobody? Alright. So in retail, we had these like tape gun things. And like, it kind of looks like this now that I'm thinking of it. But we had these tape gun things that you would use for boxing and whatnot. I'm sure you've probably seen one even if you haven't worked in retail, but they're so much fun to just like go around a box and just fuck with it completely. Just wrap it in tape and completely forget about it later. Complete waste of time, but really fun. So here we go. So this is just the guidance cable, essentially. So this doesn't actually shoot it out. This is just kind of there to follow through on the main cable where that should go. The kinda, I can feel the weather changing cold. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, that's kinda how you come up with these kinds of worlds. Yeah, you just kinda do stuff and then you're like, well, that's like that then, I guess. Oh, right, this was Ifni. Ifni's hand. But yeah, this little doodle game, I suppose, is what I could call it, that I'm making. The one for Ifni that I'm doing. Ooh, that looks unbalanced. Yeah, okay. Something here. Balance that out a bit. Something here. That should fix it. Okay. Uh, yeah. You kind of just do stuff. Shit. What should I put here? Oh, I do kind of like that. Some kind of bend that goes there. And something has to go here. I don't know what has to go there, though. Mm. Hmm. How is that going to be done? Oh, damn, we've been streaming for 40 minutes? Can't believe it. I'll probably cut it off at the hour. I usually do. I am legitimately surprised that there are even 6 people watching this right now. It is so late. Oh, well, I guess like 9 p.m. is like late because I'm used to my school schedule and goofy ass college. But damn, I didn't think this many people would be on. I guess because it's late, that's probably why my. Where's the 4 other people? I don't know. But it says there's 6 people watching, so. I mean, they're probably just not like logged in, which is perfectly fine. I usually never log into my. I haven't started logging into my YouTube until I actually started streaming and just posting stuff. And then I was like, yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah, let me cut this up a bit. Yeah, this is more what the hand shape should be. And the coat. Index finger should be shorter, and this should be bigger. This don't make any sense, but I'm just gonna leave it like that in here. Been listening while drawing. Oh, that's nice. Hey, Zach. There we go. Let's see, hand goes here. Now let's do the actual arm sleeve. Oh dear. Okay, how did I do this? Oh, I see now. There we go. Just like that. Line carries through there. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, now where the hell do I put this? Oh, actually, I could put it... I could just have this here to balance out that side. But I might have to move it a little closer in. Yeah, okay, that's what we're doing. We doing circles. Here we are. Oh dear. Move this down here. I should add some folders. This is getting messy. Drop that down there. What's that? Oh, yeah. Whoops. Let me move that out too. There we go. Guess I can move all these down here too. Just clean up this clutter a little bit. Yeah, apologies for the sniffles. Merge that down. Oh yeah, so I'm thinking of doing more of these streams, because I just generally like kind of talking and seeing what's going on with people. If I did, do you think I should do them at a later time or like an earlier time? Because I feel like an earlier time less people are available. Extend this a teeny bit. At least based on what I'm seeing. If this time will work, yeah, I suppose. I do like doing late night stuff. It could be fun. Is that balanced? And then a secondary cable here, maybe. There we go. Look at that. I think that's about as balanced as I'm gonna get it. At least visually speaking. Go just do some hatch shade. Clean this bit up a bit. Not sure if the arm should carry through though. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Let's make this like a black oblong shape. There we go. Let's see, as long as it's not around work days, it's fine by me. Okay. From an audience critique, that looks super good to me. I have like from our college, they like expect you to have like shit down by the millimeter. So for me, if it's like I usually don't care, but I can see when it's like off by a tiny bit now, so I just want to be sure it's right. But I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. That definitely puts a lot of my worries at ease. I was worried it was looking really wonky on one side. As long as it's balanced, that's all I really care about. That's my main concern. Oh, right. There's like this triangle thing at the bottom here. There we go. Ugh. The sniffles have returned. Let's see, how long have we been streaming? I think it should be about at the hour now. Yeah, it looks like there's about 10 minutes left. Go to the next 10 minutes and I think I'll just end it up there. I really like doing these like little quick streams. It's kind of nice just to see everybody. You guys got any plans for tomorrow? Anybody doing anything interesting? I'm gonna go to the theater tomorrow, so that's gonna be neat. There's this new like anime movie coming out. I usually don't watch anime, but a friend invited me and I figured why not. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Damn, that does look really clean. Okay. Ugh. Let me carry that background over. Okie dokie. I think that leg shouldn't be there. This one. Bit distracting. There we go. Or, wait. Hmm. Let's see. I think I'm caught up on schoolwork till Tuesday, so all good here. That's good to hear. Actually gonna start a public art. Ooh, that sounds lovely. Good luck with the stream. It's definitely fun. It's nice to see folks. And be busy with schoolwork. Oof, yeah. Less hidden from the mates. Hi. working on my own project which involves light. How so? Or actually, if you'd rather not talk about it, it's all good. I don't know if you don't want to spoil that or something. Oh, I think that's just what I needed. Just a bit of dark here. Alrighty. I think that's pretty alright. Get rid of the lower sketch. I might shrink it down a little bit. What do you guys think? I'm trying to figure out a way how brightness can be calculated with some crazy math. There's most likely a way to calculate it, but I want to find out myself. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like you could just calculate just the number of photons coming off something at any given time, no? Or like the number of photons being ejected from a certain source? Or is it based on the surface of something, like the surface brightness? I'm sure as long as you had the number or like the amount of energy being released from the source object, you could probably find a way to figure out the brightness of what it would be of that material relative to, I guess, whatever shininess is on the material, but I'm not a mathematician. I have no idea how that would work. Based on surface angle and distance. That's interesting. Well, I guess as long as you have, I suppose as long as you have like the mathematical properties of that thing and how much light, it's the angle that's weird. Yeah. Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck with that. I'm not great with math. I've never been great with math. You have my dearest and deepest good lucks, because that is certainly something I can do. That sounds really cool, though. And goddamn, yeah, no, for sure. Good luck, dude. Ooh, I like that, but it kind of fucks it up a bit. Too much. Nope, too unbalanced. Just need something here. Ooh, actually, wait. Maybe if I just almost more of an angle. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Even just the outline gives a strong contrast to what's... Oh, thank you. Based on surface angle and distance, thanks. As a mate of mine would say, maths is everywhere. Yep, sure is. And I suck at it. I got like a 58% average in math class. Dropped that shit immediately. Anyone who can actually do math is crazy impressive. The word just reminds me of college. Oof. Yeah, that school PTSD hits hard, doesn't it? That hits different actually being in college myself. Okay, now just... Ooh, is that gonna... yeah, price I'm willing to pay. Trim. That's too low. A little bit more. I've been going to school for graphic design. I might as well put my graphic design shit to work. That looked like it was gonna be way cleaner when I cut that. Maybe like this. Nope. Eh. Ain't that a pickle? Hmm. I'm not quite sure how to crop this. This is all very like small anal stuff, but once you've been taught how to see it, you just never unsee it. It's a bit annoying actually. Actually, okay, so I think maybe make the splash a tiny bit smaller too. I don't know how big I should keep this. I don't want it to overtake Ifni. So what I could do is I could actually just have this splash. Yeah, okay, I see what I could do now. So I'll use this for a different piece, maybe like a fully painted thing. And I'll just make like a separate splash screen that goes here. So it'll just be like a little banner on the side. Alright, we've just about hit the hour, so I guess this is a little bit of warning to say that the stream's gonna end soon, but I'll keep drawing for a little bit more. I suppose in the meantime I could just doodle on this. I did mean to give it some color. Oh, yeah, okay, this is gonna be real fun. 5, 5, 5, 5. Oh, actually, it's not as bad as I thought. Okay. I just have to clean this up a bit. Here, here. Probably. Yeah, I should probably just line this out too while I'm at it. Is there anything else up here? What? Oh. What else? Oh, there we go. If you want to ask for opinions later, I'm open to talk later. Oh, you're welcome to say them now. After all, I can fix them now. I'm working on them now. It would help a bunch. Ooh, that is gonna look very odd, isn't it? Yeah, with the colors is gonna look really weird. Actually, not as bad as I thought. I thought that was gonna be a lot worse. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'll make a little splash thing here, and then I'll bring it over here, and then this will kind of be a separate design of sorts. I think that's a good idea. This hold out here, and I will probably switch this to blue, because that would give much better contrast. Let's see. And switch this to more of like a yellow, dark brown. Yeah, that's way better. Great foreshortening. Thank you. I think so. I thought it was white and black on a background. Looked awesome. Oh, I might do that actually. I did kind of want to at least color this one though, because I've just been doing a lot of doodles recently of Ifni for fun. And I feel like people like the colored pieces more than not, so why not? It doesn't take that long. I color pretty fast. Yeah, it's everything that needs that. Hat. I gotta find a way to get music in this. I just don't want to get copyright striked. I could use music that's like 100 years old though. Can't copyright that. Okay, you know what? Why don't I just... Duh, duh, duh. Okay, done. Much faster. Arms. Ooh, whoops. That kind of pyrite color should carry through a bit more. Ugh. Okay, maybe not that much more. Arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, damn, that's saturated. Oops. I got one from the 40s. I have a lot of music from the 40s. That's a good idea. Alright, sure, feel free to send it. I'm gonna have to check what YouTube is fine with, because some of these songs are actually still copyrighted, even like 100 years later. It's really stupid. Some of the dumbest shit I ever seen. It's not YouTube's fault, it's MGM's fault, but, you know, oh well, I suppose. Can't have everything. Ooh. Actually, you know, I think I'm gonna color this on a different day. I usually can't, like, color something after I've sketched it. It's like a separate process. I don't know how to describe it. But I think Chibi might actually have a point there on Discord. Oh, I've seen that one. Thank you. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna have this here. I'm gonna have it as like... No. Maybe I should just keep it like black and white. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Let's see. Just want to see if adding like a shiny blur to it does anything. It's like a tiny effect. Yeah. Yeah, I'll figure this out some other time. Well, main thing is what I want to get done is done. And now I just gotta work on some school shit. And I'll focus on these helmets on another time. But yeah. It was a pleasure to see everyone again, and I think I'm just gonna end the stream now. So, hope you all have a lovely night, and thank you for tuning in. All right. See you guys.